Chapter 21 50,000 troops. Zhang Yi smelled a strange smell in the air, similar to heather, but he didn't think much about it. After all, this place had become a mess because of Professor Da Vinci's experiment. Brian stopped and looked at Professor Da Vinci, and suddenly a sympathetic smile appeared on his face. "Professor, I told you that you can join us. After all, as an intelligent dog, it's difficult for me to find an ideal partner. But you're a human, so that kind of thing is much easier than it is for me." It winked at Zhang Yi as it spoke. "Mr. Chaos will definitely help you, right?" Professor Da Vinci, looking impatient, suddenly shouted at it. "That's enough. You haven't been idle for over a month. You're almost bringing this house down. Also," he pointed in the direction of the refrigerator, "throw your horse semen out of the refrigerator right now. It stinks." Zhang Yi. Ah? Horse. Horse what? Brian bit his finger. "Professor, you don't understand this. The Huaxi people believe in nourishing like. This is an ancient Huaxi recipe that Mr. Su Chunlei taught me. Horse essence is a great tonic. After all, think about it. Horses are good at that, hee. Zhang Yi was also completely speechless. He thought Brian had just drunk milk. But if you think about it, Brian is a dog. Dogs can even eat shit, so drinking some special drinks is nothing. Zhang Yi couldn't help but laugh and asked Brian, "So, what were you doing upstairs just now?" Brian rolled his eyes and forced an explanation. "Well, I'm learning a foreign language. Foreign languages are good, and foreign languages must be learned. After all, people are saying that the whole world is learning Huaxi Mandarin. I have to keep up with the trend and not be left behind." Cough, 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 cough. Zhang Yi couldn't help but laugh. "Well, I know you're multi-talented. But don't worry about this for now. I'll ask Fatty Sue to get you something better later. We have more important things to do right now, so please keep it to yourself." Having said that, Zhang Yi restrained his smile, and his eyes became sharp. Brian also sensed the change in Zhang Yi and couldn't help but narrow his eyes and said, "Is there going to be a war?" "It has not forgotten the purpose of coming here. Tell me, what do you need us to do? I've been wanting to take care of those lizard men for a long time." It rubbed its hands, looking ready for a fight. Zhang Yi spoke word for word. "We will charge into the Wulwan Empire's headquarters. This battle will completely eradicate this race that harbors malice towards human civilization from the planet." Brian's body trembled, and Professor Da Vinci narrowed his eyes and stared at Zhang Yi. After a while, Professor Da Vinci slowly said, "You are crazier than I thought. Moreover, the Huaxi kingdom is more powerful than I thought. Even Colombia now does not dare to attack a prehistoric empire of that level of civilization." Professor Da Vinci was full of doubts, but he did not continue asking. After all, they were just here to help, and it would be impolite to ask about the core secrets of a war. If it were someone else, Professor Da Vinci might even suspect that the other person was mentally ill. But the opponent is Chaos, the most famous and sickeningly steady guy in the world. Then this battle must be fully prepared. Just tell us what you need us to do. As long as you're not asking us to be cannon fodder, everything is negotiable." Professor Da Vinci said calmly, crossing his arms. He also had enough confidence in himself. Colombians would never joke about their lives. "Don't worry. I can't bear to sacrifice a bishop-level alien dog and a genius scientist. No one will die in this battle." The last sentence is what Zhang Yi said to himself. Nearly half a year of preparation, countless drills, and the nearly perfect intelligence collected were all for a perfect ending. "Please pack your things as soon as possible and gather at the southeast square." After Zhang Yi said something to the two of them, he left first to prepare for military affairs. Swish! He disappeared from the spot after a space shuttle and soon arrived at the square in the southeast area. It was late at night, and there was silence. There was neither moon nor stars in the sky. It was the night of the dark moon and stormy murder. This time was around early morning in the Wulwan Empire, when their mental strength was at its weakest, making it the most suitable time for a sneak attack. At this time, the square was already crowded with people. In this battle, the 6 major regions of the entire Huaxiu kingdom dispatched a total of more than 50,000 troops to fight. There are more than 50,000 troops, of which more than 10,000 are Inhumans, ranging in strength from alpha level to Ypsilon. Yes, there are alpha level Inhumans, and there are also about 40,000 ordinary soldiers. But don't underestimate them. With Huaxiu country's current technological armament and the addition of various medicines, the role they can play on the battlefield will not be weaker than that of the middle and lower level Delta. The gap between the Inhumans below Ypsilon can be made up by using human scientific weapons. Of course, their main task was not to attack the city on the front battlefield. Instead, after breaking into the city, they need to charge into the territory of the Wulwan Empire and wipe out all the lizardmen. Cut the grass at its roots. Zhang Yi's attitude has always been firm and has not changed at all. When Zhang Yi arrived here, everyone was already there. Zhang Yi walked over to Lu Karen and said to her, "Send a message to the Wulwan Empire, saying that there has been no movement from the Huaxiu kingdom today." Lu Karen nodded, then imitated Klot's tone and sent a message to the military of the Wulwan Empire. The Wulwan Empire did not have any doubts about this intelligence that was sent out on a daily basis. They just thought it was a long ambush. They all believed that during this long confrontation, the Wulwan Empire had only one opponent from beginning to end, and that was the mysterious race under the Qinling Mountains. Human? It's just a stronger insect race, and they can destroy it at any time. On the square, 50,000 troops gathered here. At this time, Zhang Yi also felt the shock of the large army. When history books describe a large army, it is always an army of millions or hundreds of thousands. 50,000 troops may not sound like a large number, but at first glance, they are a huge crowd. They are full of murderous intent and fighting spirit. They have gathered the most elite warriors from the entire Huaxiu kingdom, which is enough to scare any force on this planet. Chapter 2171 Infiltrate and Start the War. As for weapons, they did not carry any heavy weapons, but only some equipment with them. Because the important weapons are all in Zhang Yi's different space and Mu Yan's shadow. When a large army sets out, they can do it silently. This was part of Yang Xinxin and Zhang Yi's plan. Zhang Yi stood at the front, and next to him were the heads of the 6 districts, all staring at him. Xiao Lai, the supreme commander of the Northwest region, was standing on the left of Zhang Yi. Unfortunately, the former commander Li Changgong was in the military formation of the East China Sea region. When the two met, they only exchanged glances, but neither of them made a move. Xiao Lai said to Zhang Yi, "General Zhang, please give us the pre-battle instructions." The commander of this operation was naturally Zhang Yi, who issued all combat orders. Zhang Yi nodded, walked forward, and turned on the speaker equipment so that his voice could be heard throughout the square. Today, there is nothing special to say. The lizard men of the Wulwan Empire have repeatedly invaded our Huaxiu nation, killing countless of our compatriots, and even want to destroy our nation and our race. We must let them know that throughout their long history, the Huaxiu people have never feared anyone. Whoever wants us dead, we will destroy them first. This time, we will not leave a single lizard man alive. Kill them all. I want this race to completely disappear from the world. After 6 months of preparation, we are now fully prepared. In this battle, I assure you in the name of chaos, we will win. Zhang Yi's words deeply inspired the soldiers present. The word "must win" is a shot of adrenaline. Originally, many aliens and soldiers were worried about such a large-scale war, thinking that they would never return. But even the legendary conservative Chaos said so victory should be relatively certain. At this time, Professor Da Vinci and Brian also packed up their things and rushed over. They didn't carry much with them. Brian was wearing a combat uniform and carrying a huge backpack that was almost as big as his uniform. Professor Da Vinci was still wearing his white coat. It was freezing and snowy, but he didn't feel cold even with his seemingly thin clothes. It seemed like he was wearing some high-tech clothes. Zhang Yi looked at them and nodded. The personnel are ready, and the battle begins tonight. Zhang Yi asked Mu Yan to open her shadow space. Mu Yan walked forward, and her shadow spread out on the ground like a wave, and soon turned into a huge door. "Come in," Zhang Yi gave the order. The troops from the 6 major regions, led by their leaders, entered Mu Yan's alien space in an orderly manner. Zhu Zheng and other senior officials from various regions were watching the departure ceremony on the communication channel. "Chaos, I wish you a triumphant return. May your military fortune flourish, and we will surely win this battle." Zhang Yi nodded. "Just wait for the good news of my victory." Ho Tu's pretty face appeared in the picture, and she nodded silently at Zhang Yi. "That matter has been settled." Zhang Yi felt relieved when he heard this. "In that case, then you should stay here and guard Shengjing City." It was still the same old rules. Zhang Yi led the army to war, while Ho Tu stayed in Huaxi State. After all, her abilities cannot be fully utilized on the front battlefield, let alone in an offensive. As for her original position, it has now been replaced by Brian and Professor Da Vinci and will not have any impact on the war. Everyone entered Mu Yan's shadow space one after another. At this time, the area of Mu Yan's shadow space expanded dozens of times. This saved Zhang Yi a lot of effort. Originally, in order to accommodate 50,000 troops, he planned to build a layered structure in the shadow space. Professor Da Vinci and Brian were called by Zhang Yi and asked to follow Yang Xinxin. By this time, they also knew what tasks they needed to perform. In the blink of an eye, the entire square became empty, leaving only Zhang Yi standing alone in the cold wind. No one could imagine that he alone was equivalent to an army of thousands. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, and the cold wind from the surface was filtered through the demon god armor and entered his body. "Then, let's get started." Zhang Yi directly used his ability to sneak into the underground, not through land, but through the underground space. The route has been planned countless times, and there will be no deviation. The people of the Wulwan Empire could never have imagined that such a huge army would suddenly appear near their empire from underground. The night is dark and silent. The Wulwan Empire was no different from usual, and no one knew that a huge disaster was about to happen. The prosperous areas of the empire were still bustling with lights and wine, and the rich and powerful were enjoying the beauty of the night and caressing the plump thighs of the beautiful female lizard men. Not long after, Zhang Yi appeared. Black gauze robe enveloped his body, and before him was the enormous territory of the Wulwan Empire. A layer of light blue light curtain appeared on the helmet of the demon armor. It was an energy network that could not be seen by the naked eye. If you want to break through the Wulwan Empire, you must first break through their multiple defense systems. From a great distance, in the cover of darkness, Zhang Yi opened the door to his own dimension. One after another, terrifying monsters appeared silently in the distance and lay dormant in the darkness. On the other side, the soldiers also quietly appeared in Mu Yan's shadow. They were far away outside the borders of the Wulwan Empire and were not in a hurry to attack. Instead, they were waiting for Zhang Yi to give them a signal. Zhang Yi reached out and touched Ling's arm in the alien space again. This time he didn't dare touch her legs for fear of being beaten. Although it was a little cold, the reassuring touch gave Zhang Yi great courage. Being a hero is so hard. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous at all. Zhang Yi said to himself. But now, I have to be the hero. Zhang Yi, wearing a black gauze dress, activated his ability of space travel and headed towards the territory of the Wulwan Empire. At the same time, he sent out 2 strings of signals. A series of signals were sent to Zhu Yu, who was lurking here, ready to cause damage at any time. After Zhu Yu received the signal, his eyes suddenly lit up. Big Brother's reinforcements have arrived, which means I can go hunting openly now. In the dark sewer, she quickly stuffed a pineapple bun into her mouth, then quickly merged into the cement pipe and escaped to the ground. Another series of signals was sent to a big chinchilla that was hiding somewhere underground and eating a corn cob. Crunch, crunch. There was a lot of sound of eating. Looking around, there was not only the big Totoro and 1 digger, but hundreds of digger. Stay with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.